Hi, it's Bissong, and this is a Sunday morning. I said to record this podcast on a Sunday morning. It's a day where a lot of people consider very spiritual. So I want you to receive this with the same spiritual energy of the day. And Bissong is the founder of Rising Men. Bissong is the founder of Bissong Institute of Image, where we help people with personal and corporate branding, basically to build their image. And Rising Men is geared towards men's lifestyle and education, helping men to build a formidable image that runs long beyond them. So all the topics I talk about, on relationship, on men's lifestyle, and all these things are geared towards that goal, to make sure that we have a more refined, family. Because when we get men rightly, they pick the right women, they form the right, because men are the leaders of their families, and the family is the smallest unit of socialization. In fact, the most important unit of socialization. And if we get the family wrong, we get the society wrong. And that's the reason why we all have to play our quota, in getting, in contributing the right ideas to society, the right kind of people to society. And it will start by helping the people who can help in our communities, the people who can reach, helping them to have, because those are the people that are going to form families. We have to help these people to get their minds right. If one person gets their mind right, it's very likely that the family gets their mind right, So it's a long chain. The things I do have a long chain of results. And I found out that a lot of people like to listen to my relationship talks. So I'm going to be doing more of the audio podcasts now than the videos. I might still be putting in the videos from time to time. But why am I doing more of the audios? For one, they're easier to do. The videos need me to set up, to dress up, to get everything, the lighting right and everything. And I found that there have been some interference in many of my videos, birds chirping and all of that. So I felt these things are keeping me, because sometimes I want to record a video and I'm waiting for all the conditions to be right. And with the audio podcast, I can put out my message as frequently as possible. So instead of us wasting time and, it takes long before you get a video from me this week, before you get another video from me, it takes time. We want to make sure that we can put out as much content as possible. I want to make sure that I can put out as much content as possible to enlighten the people that listen to me. Many people are looking to gain many of the things I talk about, and they say, why are you not been posting as frequently as possible? So this is one of the reasons. I also cancelled my random thoughts video. There's a video I posted yesterday for those who are on my status and those who follow me on other social media. I posted this video, it was me taking a walk and just, random ranting. I was calling it random wisdom. Now, the reason why I put it out is because I feel like it's not the time yet for it. Sometimes you want to move ahead of what is needed at the moment to do. And I'm being a person that I easily get ideas, and then I'm on this idea, I'm on that idea, I'm on this idea, I'm on that idea. And the best way to really get yourself fully grounded, is to focus on smaller things and do them exceptionally well. So by the time you are able to get the most out of, the smallest thing you're trying to do, that is it. So I've decided to pull out that aspect of myself that is always going to spread himself thin. So I believe that will have its time when it will come, because that's supposed to be like a kind of exclusive show. Why? It is random. It captures me in my most vulnerable state. So this is where we can connect on a very deep level. Of course, I'm very vulnerable on my podcast, my audio podcast, where I can say what it is I want to say. And the beauty of this podcast is that you can always listen to it while you're doing whatever you are doing, in the day. You do not need to pause and watch a video. You can just play it and then listen to what is going on. So today I want to talk about relationships. So what is a relationship basically? And the question I want to ask is a relationship 50-50? Are relationships supposed to be 50-50? Are we supposed to contribute 50-50 in a relationship? There's a lot of talk on 50-50 now. A lot of people do not want to be cheated. They want to push for 50-50 idea when it comes to relationships, and especially in marriages. But of course, whatever marriages we're trying to concoct will start from our perception of relationships in general. So now the first thing I want to outline is, before I go further, I want to speak on some of my postulations in the past. These postulations or positions in the past, where I have said a man should not get married until after 30. And I've even said I was going to get married at 35. But for a while, I've had a turnaround, in that regard, in that sphere. And what is the reason for this turnaround? I started analyzing some things, and I felt one of the main reasons why, first of all, let me just put something out. That video I made on reasons why you should not get married before 30, or why a man should not get married before 30, those videos are not wrong, because as a matter of fact, those videos, there are a lot of things I said in the video that is actually right. A lot of things I said in the video that actually fully captures, the idea. A lot of things I said in that video fully captures, the right idea in this regard. However, there are some things in the video that are not in proper alignment, and one of those things is the fact that I said you need to gather experience with many women before you can be with a woman. And then the question is this: you do not need to gather experience, before you can be with it. Now, and again, 2 years, experience is not something that you go out with the intent of gathering. As you leave, you gather experience. We experience women in different areas of our lives, as friends, you maybe in church, as church members, as schoolmates, in different areas of our lives. We observe women. We can read psychological books talking about women's nature. We can, listen to people like me that talk about relationships, and we can always expound, or espouse these things a lot more. And now what this is telling us is that you do not pick up a girl and say, this is the girl I want to use to learn work. Now this girl I want you to learn work. Then you pick this girl with no intent of doing anything substantive with her. You have no plan to marry her. You have no plan to really, to be with her or to build anything solid. You just want to use it to practice how to get women. Yes, that's a point where you get some certain experience. But what that does for you is that most times your successes are with women whom you cannot marry. Now, you are trying to learn how to get women, and you are trying to get more women to your bed. You want to understand women's nature, what makes them work, what makes them tick. You find out that you are moving more to women who would easily give up sex. And many times you don't want a woman that easy. You feel like for you to get a wife, she has to be a woman that is not this easy. Okay? You are learning certain things about women's nature. Maybe you are with a girl and she's cheating on her boyfriend and lying to her boyfriend with you. And you feel like, I have more experience about women's nature. Don't go the reason say woman, they innocent. I know things about women. Now you are packing an idea about women, that you actually do not want in a wife. So when you now get a wife, you are going to use the experience of the women that you do not want to wife to work with the woman you want to wife. Now, you see, the problem with that is this. When you get into marriage, or when you get into a relationship with a person that you say you want something committed with, what it is that you are experiencing this person as an individual person. There are things that make this person tick. There are things that are not on the general bracket. Now, this person says she wants to go somewhere. You're already having a perception that she's going to cheat because you have been with girls who have been cheating on their boyfriends or their husbands with you. Or you expect that she might be easy to get by any guy because you have found it easy to get certain women. But you see, the problem with all of these things is that the experience you really need is to be with the woman that you really want to build something with. I need to experience this person, because the truth is that no matter what you think you have learned, when you meet a specific person, you begin to learn that person and you begin to experience that person uniquely. That's why I can understand certain things about my woman that she doesn't even understand about herself. Because I'm not analyzing her based on this is how women are. I'm analyzing her based on this is how she is. So one of those things about the myth of experience, we have experience by how we live. Even when you have dated one girl and you have a heartbreak, you learn certain things that do not work with women by virtue of that your experience with her. My problem is when people allude or equate experience with promiscuity. So for you to gain experience as a man, you have to have slept with many women. And for you to have slept with many women, you have to have formed an idea that women are easy to get. And once you have formed that idea that women are easy to get, it is difficult for you to have a trust, to trust your woman that your woman, is a person that is going to keep herself, that is going to be loyal to you. So the experience we need is not what we gather, as a matter of fact. So this is not the main video for that. I just decided to put that up because a friend of mine said he wants to hear one of my new ideas about, why I feel like men should not get married, when men don't need to get married at 30. And that reason is because one of the things I pointed out there is that a man has to grow himself, all of those kind of things, and experience life a lot so that he can offer his family a lot more. That is true. But one thing we should understand is that marriage is not a thing that you do life and then come and do. Now, what we are seeing is that people say, go and live your life. By the time you have gained a lot of experience, then you come to marriage. Now, what that does is that it makes marriage as an afterthought. Marriage is done as a thing that you do when you want to retire, when you are done playing, or when you are done with active service, when you are done with putting in your strengths to frivolities, or when you are done with building your career. Let's even say you didn't waste your time, you're building your career. We see marriage as a retirement plan. Now, that's what people are looking at it now. Maybe not in your 50s, but at some point you're looking at, I have to live life enough before I can marry. Forgetting that marriage is you picking a life partner. Marriage is you picking a person you want to do life with. You're not expected to do life and then come and look for the person you want to do life with. You're supposed to find a person and do life. And that's why I always hold this perception that when a man is up to 25, your brain is fully formed. You're a full-grown man. At that point in time, you are supposed to be thinking of how you can put your footprints into the society, and that is true family. But one of the ways, that this can happen, which is marriage, might not be something that is easy for you. At that point in time, maybe you do not have the necessary funds, you don't have the necessary, let's even say you're not just mentally ready at that point in time. You will need to start looking out for a person that you can be with when you are ready. Now, I need to have a girl or a girlfriend or a woman whom I'm courting because I want to marry. I didn't go and meet this girl because I just want to fuck. I say, let us see how it's going or how it goes or whatever will happen. And that's one of the main causes of many of the traumas we're having right now. Undefined interactions, undefined relationships. So what that does is that, it makes you feel like, what's in the up? Undefined stuff. So if I do not have a person, that I can possibly do this with, I would either waste my time playing around, and when that time comes that I'm now ready for marriage, the people I have around me are people who have never considered seriousness with, and they don't also consider seriousness with me. If I get married to those people there, I am more likely to make a mistake. First of all, picking the wrong people that are not aligned towards marriage or marriage with me. And another thing that I could also be picking is gold diggers. I could be picking people who just want, to play. Gold diggers, they just want to get your money. They are not really interested in you per se, as much as a woman who has actually, grown with you, has seen life with you, has watched you grow and all of those kind of things. There are a lot of hazards to this one. First of all, this gold digger thing. In fact, there's a lot of hazards to picking a woman as at the time when you are ready. So it's better that you have a woman now that you know that the reason why you are with this woman is because you want to marry her. Though you're not ready yet for marriage, but you guys are working towards it together. You guys are building yourself. You are encouraging her to build herself, to some level. You are encouraging yourself because this person is the person you want to marry. You are cultivating this person, while you're also building your own life, because you know that this person is an integral part of my life. This person is an helpmate or a helpmate. This person is a very, very important part of my life. So at that point in time, this person is not living their life. They're not making life decisions void of you. They're making life decisions with you in their mind. They're planning their life. And you guys are having discussions about your future, but it is in line with what you guys want for each other. Okay, I want this thing. I want you want this thing. Does it align? Are they the things we want? These are the things that you build up to that point whereby the time when all the resources are necessary for you to have a family, where everything is good, when everything is set, when you are mentally ready, there is a person already. But if you say, I'm going to go and also, I'm going to do all the things I want to do with life, and then now come back to consider marriage, the likelihood of you marrying rubbish is very high, because you're coming from a desperate point of view. You're coming from a point of view whereby you just want to get this done with. I just want to get this done with perspective. That is where you're coming from. It is base. It is not a well-developed perspective. You just mojo runner, because I don't dey ready now. That's when you start calling and say, please, who get wife? Make them give me wife. You have not even found how to have a beautiful interaction with women, and especially with your woman too. I'm not saying that doesn't work. It does work, especially when you get a competent hand to handle finding a woman for you. But most times, most women you see at that point in time, when you are the completest of men, are women who also just want a good provider. Most times they're not. So that is it. Let me go into the business of today, because I don't talk for about 17 minutes and I never talk about is relationship 50-50. Now, the answer to that question is very simple. Relationship is not 50-50. Relationship is 100-100. It means you bring 100% of what you get. Me, I bring 100% of what I get. Me, no one person they feel like say they bring this one, they bring that one. Now the thing is that the 100% of what you have might be just 30% of what we need to make up the whole of what we both need. Now, you bring all you have, I bring all I have. All you have can be 30% of the whole thing. All you have can be 70% of the whole thing, depending on the time, that we are making this check. Now, you can marry a woman who maybe she was at the beginning of her career, and then she gets a job offer because she's grown in that career, and that job offer is 10 times what she was earning before. Now she has the ability to contribute more to the relationship. We should not say that we always split the rent. Now that I am making 1 million naira and our rent is 100k, we are still going to split it 50-50k. You are earning 300k, but you must bring 50k. Me, I'll bring my 50k. If one partner is earning 1 million naira, it simply means that partner can handle the whole rent, because you guys are bringing all that you have to the table. I've always said this thing. There's nothing like personal, this is my own money. I had a discussion with my mother yesterday. I had to ask her, how many times did you step in for daddy? And she was saying, man, I stepped in for daddy a lot of times, and I was happy that I was helping him to have an easier life. I was happy that I was helping him to be healthy, because I felt if all the responsibilities were on his shoulders, he might be unhealthy. That is who a helpmate is. That's who a wife is. And of course, in my family, my father was the chief breadwinner. And what he was bringing as the major thing was bringing all that he had. She was bringing all that she had. But all that he had was up to 70%, and all that she had was up to like 30%. But at different points in time, some people had to give more. There were times whereby all that he had was 30% and all that she had was the 70%. When we talk about partnerships, what we're talking about is people who are willing to give their all to making things happen. That is as simple as possible. So once there's a number to what you are giving, then it is a business transaction. It's no longer a relationship. Of course, I will not say marriage is not a business transaction, because it actually is, because marriages were set up to develop bloodlines. They were not set up just for the butterflies in my belly. Oh, I'm so in love. No, that was not what it was set up for. It was set up to develop bloodlines, set up to grow dynasties. So a person, you look at this person's family, you look at their background, you look at what they can offer, and you say, okay, come on my team, because you have a lot to offer to my team. This is my mission and my vision. How can you contribute to this thing in my life? Would I have to stop my vision and my mission because I'm with you? Do I need to, all of those things are very, very important. And those are the things that people should be talking about. So it means that if I am dating a person and I know that maybe as at the time when I'm dating my woman, maybe she's still in school, or maybe she's still trying to get herself, set up, it means that I cannot expect what she doesn't have. Never that could not have it. I cannot expect her to give me what she does not have. And the truth also is this: she shouldn't expect you to give what you can't give too. And many times we find a lot of people trying to demand what the other person cannot give from them. Trying to demand what the other person cannot give. There's sometimes that your man cannot give you enough time, because he's giving his all, he's giving his time and energy, but for some reason, time cannot be in that is all. Time no dey plenty for inside. And it will be you that will have to make up for the time. So you will have to call more. You would have to text more. So anytime someone is checking the call, you say, Omo, na me call pass so for this relationship. You can't dey vex. Why are you angry that you are giving your all to your own relationship? You say you can't reduce how many call you they call because now you call pass. But one thing is this: if you feel that the energy that you are giving is not, the energy you are giving is not commensurate to what you are getting, yes, of course, you can always have that discussion, and that's a part of you giving. You calling this person's attention to how you believe to be loved, how you want to be loved, and how you see love to be. And that is one thing I believe that people should always align. They have to understand what it is that makes the other person feel loved and give it 100%. So what makes you feel loved might be gifting. What makes this other person feel loved might not be gifting, so to speak. It might be homemade meals. Sometimes I'm a very good cook, but I would love when a woman cooks for me. I don't know. I just love when a woman cooks for me. But if I enter kitchen, you go bite your tongue. Don't be saying I know sabi cook. But that is also a kind of love language for me. So anybody that, now feels like they will not cook for me, but they will be buying me plenty gifts. Me, I like gifts too. I'm trying to give an example of a person that doesn't like gifts, for example, but likes food, cook food. So anybody that is now trying to buy me plenty gifts and not cooking for me is not loving me properly. This person is just splurging money on me, and I feel like it's not deep enough. So that is just one way. There are different things that we find out that people need to understand how people interpret, love. And that is part of giving all. Giving your all. Understanding how this person is when they are cranky, when they are angry. Understanding that it is not because they don't love you that they're acting this way, but this is how they react when they're angry. And then you have to align with understanding that aspect of them and love them in that thing, but then still also be able to bring about correction and say, okay, I know that you love me when you are doing these things, and that's the reason why I'm not angry. But at the same time, I believe that if you can work on this and work on this, would have a more happy interaction, a more happy relationship. Don't you want a more happy relationship for us? I do. So, and this is one of the ways I'm giving you a cheat code. This is one of the ways our relationship can be more happy, for me and for you. So if two of you both want the happiness of your relationship, both of you want it to work, then that is just it. I believe that people should give their 100. So talking about this 100 thing, I don't know if I've said this before, but I think I have, is that we have to stop looking for 100% in a partner. People always have an idea of a perfect partner, and I've spoken to a lot of people, and the person that they describe that they want it's not like the person is unrealistic, but the person is 100 in your mind. Now, no matter how realistic you define what you want as your ideal person, if you do not describe your compromise, then you cannot go further. Now, for example, I know the things that I can compromise on are the things that are deal breakers for me. So deal breakers are the things that will not even make me go on in the first place into a relationship. One of them, that you can't be so ugly. I'm not saying that I want Miss World. So I can compromise on, if you are not Miss World, I'll say, you're not Miss World. That's my compromise. But a deal breaker is when you are not even your own day too much. You don't too ugly. Your inner beauty is all that you have. I don't want, because I can't be always explaining to people that my baby has inner beauty, because means I'll be a fine man. So that is one. Another thing too, disloyalty. If I see a woman with a very explorative sexual nature, and I discover that this is something that she has with almost everyone. Now, I don't have a problem with a sexual nature, because we are all sexual human beings. We all like sex. My issue is with the instances of expression. So if I notice that is your way, I'm not judging you for being like that. Another person might, just link up with you. I mean, porn stars are getting married now, for God's sake. Porn stars are married. They're getting husbands too. Or retired porn stars too are getting Christian pastor husbands. Well, aside that, the main thing I'm trying to point out here is that there are certain things that I would not, compromise on. I will not compromise on genuine annoyance. There's some things that will just annoy you. There's some behaviors that annoy you. And these behaviors have been deeply ingrained with the person you are meeting. So if I'm meeting with a woman and there are some things she does, and these things annoy me to my bone, and I am like saying, okay, let's correct this thing, the likelihood of that thing not being corrected is large. So those things that you say, let us correct, have to be your compromises. You are willing to compromise them if they don't get corrected, but you are willing to let your partner know how you feel about these things so that they can work on it. But you have to rest assured, deeply in your mind, that it's very possible that these things are never resolved. You see, I was listening to one podcast, and there are this couple, very old couple, and they are into, marriage counseling and all this stuff. But they are very old. They have been in marriage for about 40-something years. And then this woman said, was it the man or the woman said something? Said, if you're always relying on the resolution of conflict or the resolution of certain issues for you to determine the happiness of your relationship, then you wouldn't be happy, because 70% of issues don't get resolved. So if I was angry about how you dress, I say, don't dress like this. If it is a thing that has always been you, because I met you when you are an adult. It means all of these years, for at least 18 years of your life, you have been set in certain ways. You have understood how to do things in certain ways. It's a difficult thing for you to change. Change is not impossible, it's a difficult thing for you to change. So if I notice that these are the things about you, and these things are so annoying to me, there is no need for me to start telling you that I want you to change. One, you might begin to change, I might still not like you after you change. So the thing is, when I notice those things, it is better you let this person be, because there's a large possibility that this person will not change, and you would now start basing your love on how much change you are willing to accommodate, and that is not what it should be. So first of all, you can only tell them that, hey, I want you to change certain things, but you have to have it at the back of your mind that if these things don't change, you can compromise. Those are the things that you have the ability to accept. I always say sometimes, I can accept certain things. Some things I just have to swallow them, even if I don't accept them. But that is not right. It has to be the case that I accept them, even if they are not 100% or they are not the most palatable. So that's what I've come to see. I say, okay, I have to like my partner. I expect that my partner is not going to be 100%. And at the same time, loving them, means that I've seen those things that are not 100%, but these are the things I can take. These are the things I can take. There are certain things that you see that you just know that, no, this one cannot work for me. And if you find yourself always trying to change certain things about your partner, of course, there are certain things about your partner that by meeting you, they will change. Because they are seeing that for this to really work, I need to put in certain efforts. I want to be the best version of myself for this person because I love them. I want to be the best version of myself for this person, But at the same time, too, those cannot be things, that are not compromisable. Because even when you're offended, by certain things your woman or your man is doing, you are still supposed to love them in those times. That's what commitment is about. Saying, okay, there are many reasons why we want this thing to work. Now, there are certain things I like sexually, but if my woman is not willing to do certain things sexually, it's not a deal breaker for me. There are a lot of things that make me pick a woman. A lot of things that make me pick a woman. But of course, if my woman is not having sex with me at all, saying she don't want to fuck me, now issue now. But now, the thing is that there are certain things that she may not be open to. Those certain things that she's not open to, I am willing to help her to change or to learn those things, or to become more open or more relaxed to trying those things. But at the same time, if she doesn't, I am willing to compromise on those things because they are wants, they are not exactly needs for me. But if those things are needs for you, bro, there is really no need to push on. So yes, we need to be very prepared to compromise on certain things. This is when I'm talking to some people and their description of everything, something has to give for something. Something has to give for something. If you are looking for a very, very young woman who is beautiful, and she's very young, most times you find out that she's also not financially stable because she's really young. Maybe she has not gotten very high in her career. It means you need to compensate for, that aspect of her. It has to not be a deal breaker for you. And if you're looking for maybe a woman who's maybe much older, you are saying that, she's much older, but she has more experience in her business or in her work, in her career, and maybe she has more money, or she has gone to some level of, maturity. So you are finding that this one is not as young as you want, but she has enough money, or she has enough, advancement in her career, and some other things that you have noticed that are good about her because she has gathered those things over time. But there's another one too that's not gathered certain things around time. It takes more cultivation. But she's young. So I believe that everything that you're looking for, there's always a side that you will not get in every package. So you go for what ticks most of your boxes, right? But at the end of the day, you have to know those things which are deal breakers. It means that every other thing that's not a deal breaker is compromisable. If my deal breaker is cheating, if that's my only deal breaker, for example, it means if every other thing is not right and this person is not cheating, I can compromise. Of course, it's not like that cheating is your only deal breaker, of course. But I'm trying to say that you are willing to make this person change into being other things. But as long as those things are not deal breakers, it means you can still move on with them. So that's just, the view. So I do not believe relationships are 50-50. It is not possible for you to say you love a person or you are building a commitment with a person and all your contributions are numbered. Your contributions cannot be numbered. Everybody gives their all. If I have family connections, then my wife has it. If my wife has family connections, then I have it too. If I know a senator, then my wife knows the senator. If I have 100 million, then my wife has 100 million. If she has 100 million, then I have one too. That is what family is, and that's what family values is about. Family values means that people decide to join their individual strengths together to become one. To become one formidable power, one formidable strength. That we decide to add everything that we are into one embryo to make it the strongest it can be. We brought 100 together to make 200%, like tick. So when we see that people have to bring their all, we are more conscious of the kind of people that we let, because your all, your 100% has to be useful on my journey. It has to be useful on my mission. So what I have observed, on a large scale, most people I've had interactions with, is we feel there's some better option in the next person. They say when you notice that a 10% of what you want is not present in someone, and you're looking for that 10%, and then you discard all the 90% that this person has ticked, and then when you now go to this next person that attracted you based on this 10%, you find out that they don't even have up to 40% of what the other person has, of the 90% that person has. So you see, in the search of the 10% that you think is lacking in the one you had, you have jumped on to a person who actually just has 60% and has 40% lacking. And then it happens a lot, especially with beauty. You go for the most pretty woman, and then you find out that she is, ugly in many other ways than the woman who you were with, who you didn't consider to be the uppermost beauty. So my view about these things is, for me, when I approach a woman, yes, beauty is one of the main things. She has to not be ugly. She has to be presentable for me, and it is more on desirability for me. I have to find her desirable for me. That's one. And let nobody lie to you about that part. But also, in fact, very quickly, once I discover that she is individually, physically, inviting for me, that it is not so much of a repelling sight for me. Once I discover that I'm going deep into other intrinsic qualities that she has, I want to understand her family values. What are the things that your mother always tells you? You cannot all of a sudden change a thing that has been hammered into a woman's head for the past at least 18 years. So the people that she has spent her formative years, 0 to 3 years old, is the time where we gain most of our moral standards, most of the things that we know. We develop what they call the super ego at that point in time, from 0 to 3 years old. So what makes you think that the people that she has been interacting with from 0 to 3 years old, that they do not have a stronghold over her, that you will just talk to her, and your 1 year that you have spent with her is going to erase all the things she has learned over 0 to 3 years old? Over 0 to 18 years old. It's not possible. She has formed a behavior. In fact, she has no sentences at the back of her hand. If from that 0 to 18 years old, she has had, she has had this loose idea about sexuality, maybe from people she has seen in her family, the views she has seen, the behaviors she has observed. If her father or her family have always been hammering certain behaviors into her head, certain ideologies into her head, yes, you can always correct her, you can always influence her in different and cultivate her in different ways, but you have to work with what has been put on ground. So if I want to build a woman that is going to, I have to first know what our family has built. Okay, when they don't build, you reach. Okay, now Abi. And then I check it. If the foundation is faulty, foundation was destroyed, what can the just man do? The Bible says so. Foundation was destroyed. What can the just man do? So you check now, and you find that this is a foundation was destroyed. There are a lot of things that are faulty here. You can tell yourself that you want to start going against 18 years of hard work, or even more, over 20 years of hard work. You can tell yourself that that's what you want to do. But most times you find out that it is just easier for you, to go with the person whose family has helped you to do most of the heavy lifting at the earlier parts of their lives. That's why family is very important. A family that is money oriented, that grew up based on survival, cannot all of a sudden, you can't marry a woman from that family and you expect her to not be a money hungry person. Her mother is money hungry. Her father will do anything just to get money. She has been raised based on survival. All the people she has ever dated, her mother has always been telling her that, don't let any man touch you if he's not paying for it. Such a girl has been raised on survival. She has been raised to see men as ATM. All of a sudden, you think that you are going to be different. You can't be different. I'm not saying that people don't change from what they have learned over years. I'm not saying that is not true. But even when they change, there is a baseline. Now, for example, as much as I might want to try some things, there's some things that I will try. I will do them in secret because I'm still very much aware of the taboo of those things, because it has been groomed into me, morally, not to do certain things. I am also careful about the rate at which I will do that thing, because I have this idea of what family means to me and my family name. Some people would popularly come out and do crazy things. Their family has taught them to be raised on survival, so they'll do anything as long as maybe money will come out of it, no matter how crazy or how stupid or how demeaning. I have a family name that I consider to be of high value. I will not engage in certain things. So, I will do, even when I try certain crazy things, something in me echoes the way I should do it. So that's why you can find a lot of maybe very evil men who are still well dressed. Maybe he's a bad guy, but he just still knows how to be well dressed. He's just still respectful. He just still has, what you call a conscience somewhere. But all of these things were developed a long time ago. When they say train your child in a way that he should go, and when he's old, do not depart from it, it is not a lie. It is not the case that they cannot have a shift in character, but they still, to some level, know themselves, depending on how much work you have put. Now, this work you put in is not a work you put out of fear, but a work you instill, based on love. So if I've learned certain things out of love, I am not scared to express them. So that's all the talk about 50-50 and 100%. I hope you enjoyed this Sunday episode. It's been a long time I came on this kind of podcast. Until next time, what I want to say is stay wise.